From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Thursday, May 28th, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgartner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. Today, the state Senate voted to allow bars to reopen in outdoor spaces, overriding Governor Roy Cooper's executive order that has closed them since March. Legislation would allow bars to serve patrons in outdoor spaces, whether they're permanent or temporary, at 50% of the capacity of their indoor area, with social distancing guidelines from the CDC and the State Department of Health and Human Services. House Bill 536 would also allow restaurants to set up temporary outdoor spaces to serve customers in the same way. Restaurants are currently limited to 50% of their capacity, and the outdoor seating could bring them up to 100% or close to it. The bill's sponsors say it's a lifeline to bars and restaurants that are hanging on by a string, allowing those that have access to outdoor space to set up temporary areas to serve more customers. It would be in effect until October 31st, or until the executive order is lifted. But the bill also takes away the power of the governor and local authorities to close bars down again if another spike in coronavirus infections should occur, and critics say that's a dangerous move. At a press conference today, the governor said the bill was misguided, noting that the health and safety of the community had to remain the state's top priority. Today, temporary and permanent changes to mail-in absentee ballot rules in North Carolina and funds to improve safety at in-person voting sites this year during the COVID-19 pandemic received overwhelming approval by the State House. The measure, hammered out by members of both parties, is designed to ensure access to voting by all those who wish to cast ballots this fall, especially those at high risk for developing complications from the coronavirus. Mail-in requests and ballots are expected to spike compared with previous years. The measure expands the options for registered voters to receive an absentee ballot request form. By September, there would be an online portal for voters to submit the completed request, and this fall, only one witness would be needed to sign the envelope containing a filled-out ballot. More than $27 million would also be distributed to the state and county election boards for equipment and security upgrades, as well as to recruit poll workers expected to be in shorter supply. Money would also be used to purchase personal protective equipment for workers at early voting and Election Day precinct sites. The bill now moves to the Senate for approval, but isn't expected to encounter much resistance. This Friday, CVS will open 55 drive-through coronavirus testing sites in North Carolina. People must register in advance at cvs.com to qualify for a test. Patients will be required to stay in their cars and will be directed to the pharmacy drive-through window, where they will be provided with a test kit and given instructions. And a CVS pharmacy team member will observe the self-swab process to ensure it is done properly. Tests will be sent to an independent third-party lab for processing, and the results will be available in approximately 3 days. The list of testing sites includes dozens of stores in Raleigh, Cary, Durham, Chapel Hill, Garner, Clayton, Fayetteville, and Wake Forest, among others. A full list can be found on CVS's website. And finally, the North Carolina Coaches Association has canceled the 2020 All-Star Games and the annual Coaches Clinic. The NCCA Board of Directors voted unanimously to cancel all games due to the coronavirus pandemic, but they plan to return next year. The Coaches Clinic will be moved to a virtual platform this year. Games were scheduled to be held July 20th to the 22nd in Greensboro, in conjunction with the annual NCCA Coaches Clinic. All-Star games in boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer, and football were scheduled to be held. The games feature some of the top high school seniors from the East against their counterparts from the West. Players picked to participate in the All-Star Games were notified of the cancellation in an email this morning. High school sports in North Carolina have been suspended since March 13th, which forced the North Carolina High School Athletic Association to cancel the basketball state championship games and the spring sports season. The NCHSAA announced earlier this week that the dead period would be extended until at least June 15th, but Commissioner Q. Tucker said in a press conference that she hopes sports will be able to resume workouts with restrictions at that time. No contact would be allowed. Right now, no changes have been announced for the fall sports season. This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Thursday, May 28th, 2020. As always, if you like the news and information you get from this podcast, let us know. Leave a rating and review wherever it is you listen. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.